morning. Good morning. Welcome back. What a day we had yesterday. I really enjoyed Brian Parsley. I hope you did too. And some big surprises that he gave us there at the end, which I'll share again with you today. But yeah, really happy about how it went yesterday. I was really, I don't know what the right word is, but I was just like, it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. We've been so privileged to have fantastic guests on the show. And I really want to thank each and every single one of them for taking the time. I mean, we've had all kinds of people on the show, you know, ranging from asset managers all the way through to people who speak all over the world. And just the fact that all of them are taking the time to be with us, thank you very much. For those of you that put me in touch with them, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. It won't be possible if we don't do things like that. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And so today I want to talk a little bit about due diligence. I think it is something that, is something that we don't think about enough, and things that we are not paying enough attention to. And so let's see. I've got a few things. I'll share some of my own ideas, but the things that I want to take you through is actually based on a writing that was done by Peter Atkinson at the FIA back in 2014. We use it as part of our investment planning CPD program. And he's graciously given me permission to use that. So I thought, let me share that with you today, and then also add some nuances and see how things have changed maybe from back then to where we are now. I mean, it's about 6 years later. Do these things still apply? And then how do we need to go about it, in today's sort of environment that we find ourselves in? So let me say good morning. Good morning, Terence. Good morning. I hope your exams went well the other day. And I trust that you are well. Slanganani, good morning. We've got Denise and Malcolm. And let me scroll a little bit. I've got Almin. Good morning, Almin. Chad, good morning. Welcome back. And then Stephen, I almost said hi to myself. Quibus, good morning. Quibus says, amazing show yesterday. Profound moments with good humor in between. Yes, it was quite interesting. And also, I mean, I like being a little bit humorous. And, if we can have a good laugh, why not? Let's do that. There's enough things not to laugh about and be happy about. So, it was amazing. I really enjoyed Brian's discussion yesterday. Renee, Tinas, good morning. Raymond, Renata, good morning. Salome, good morning. Peter Stradom, welcome back. Raymond, got Kevin and Arun. Everybody in the house, all the regulars back today. Thank you very much. Carol, Philip, good morning. Very nice to have you with us. And then Neil Stradom, goeiemorgen. Ravi, good morning. Welcome back. Ravi, I hope you got my email, because I did send the email that same evening, so I didn't get anything back from you. I hope you got it. Russell, good morning, my friend. Ian, and then Johan Foster. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Really happy to have you all with us this morning. So, let me sort of I think maybe do my two announcements and a recap of yesterday, and then we'll get into the whole due diligence thing. As you know, by now, the next refresher is up. It is due. So that'll be on Tuesday, the 9th of June from 9 until 12. And we're going to be talking about estate planning, but really focusing on really the important stuff there. It's really a solid, good refresher. It takes the best part of the entire course that I offer on this, and we just focus on that for the refresher, with some practical examples and things in between. And also, how do we apply this in practice? I think it's always important. We can know the technical stuff, and we can know all the knowledge and things, but using it and pulling things together, that is what the important thing is here. And again, it's only 350 Rand. And if you are a Profile Me client, then you get it for 315 Rand. And if you are an Ignite member, you will pay only 300 Rand to attend this. And we're waiting for the CPD allocation for this, so really happy to or excited rather to receive that back. I know the FPI has been inundated with CPD applications, so I even got a call from them to say some of these things are going to take a little bit longer. So that's how it is, and that's fun. And talking about CPD, yesterday I had quite a number of people contact me and say, whoa, I didn't realize that the FPI did not postpone their deadline for the CPD, so their deadline stayed 31 May. So I don't know if you're aware of that, but if you are an FPI member, your CPD for the year should be done by Sunday. And so I had quite a number of people sign up for our online programs. And thank you very much for that. I deeply appreciate it. And I trust that you're going to get more from it than just the CPD points, which is really what these things are about. So if you need any help, give me a shout. We can put something together, especially for you, just to get you through this and make sure that you are compliant by Sunday. So yeah, give me a shout if you need any information with regards to that. Alrighty, and then obviously yesterday we had Brian Parsley, and Brian was so awesome that at the end, I honestly did not know he was going to do that. He's got a course on mastering strategic communication. And this course is $997. So Chart sent me a message yesterday afternoon saying, Francois, do you know that is 17,000 rands worth of value? Because what Brian did is he said, well, if you enter this code, so the code is Francois, so there it is. So you get the spelling right. But if you enter this on the checkout page, so you go to the address there, to brianparsley.com/the_course. And then you'll land there. You can see what it's about and whether this is something that will benefit you. And then you just go enroll now. It'll take you through to the checkout page. And on the checkout page, there is a field for a coupon. And in that field, you enter Francois as the code. And then the cost of this course will go from $997 all the way down to $0. So that was an amazing a gesture from him, and I really appreciate it. I think yesterday, last night when I chatted to Brian, we already had 69 people enrolled from that offer. So that was amazing. I don't know where we are this morning, but yeah, so go there, do that, and this is the skill that we all need, and I think this pandemic and this lockdown and everything just highlighted the fact that we need this so much. So go check out what it's about. It's 12 modules. In that course, this code expires on Sunday, so if you don't do it before Sunday, you won't get access to the course. You'll have to purchase it. So go check that out. And thanks again to Brian for this very generous offer. And I didn't ask for anything, or didn't even. Ek het nie eens geskimp nie. I don't know what that's in English. It's just something that he offered, And I think it's amazing when people do things like that. So yeah, the way we can repay them is by making use of it, and really let it help us get our businesses and our lives to the next level, because these things will filter down to your personal life. It's not only going to be about your business and your clients and all of that. So all your relationships in your personal life as well. So really an awesome opportunity as far as that is concerned. Alrighty, cool stuff. I am ready to get into this if you are ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a slideshow this morning to let me just hide this thing. Alrighty. So I want to talk, as I said, a little bit about due diligence and what that is really about. And in the copy of this episode, so in other words, the words that I wrote to explain what this episode is going to be about, and I saw it now again, and I didn't go into the detail, and I've had people ask me, but I haven't gone into the detail. And maybe it's a case study that one could do, but Exponent Financial Services that's the reason why. When I looked at my list of topics, I thought okay, now maybe is the time to talk about due diligence, because Exponent was one of those asset managers that did very well and they became known very quickly, etc. And it's always that thing where there's somebody and I know Malcolm Gladwell talks about outliers and those kind of things. So it's not impossible, to have somebody that figures something out that has never been figured out before and they just do well. But the problem is, if we follow blindly and we don't do our due diligence and we don't look at what is really underlying that, where have they come from, what has their track record been, then we may be in for a surprise, and obviously clients are happy because they get more than they could get anywhere else. You are happy because you are giving clients more than they could get anywhere else, and everybody's happy, while it's going well. So while the kids are all playing nice together, and then one child runs into another one, and then things just becomes hectic. So that's really what, the reason for me why we should be doing due diligence. And although the things I'm going to share with you today is more focused maybe on the investment side, there's a lot of these things that we can pull through and say, well, you need to use this and this. Doesn't matter who you want to work with. So whether you are looking at getting a contract with a product provider, when they come out with new products, when they change benefits, when you're looking for technology solutions, do you know what you're getting into? Or and part of due diligence, I think, is not only to figure out, is this Is this safe, and are they reputable, and are they ethical, and all that kind of stuff. It's also, is this a good fit? To understand, is this actually what I'm looking for? Then you can go as far as to say, well, people I want to partner with, people that I want to use, my CPD provider, am I happy with what they're doing, the level at what they're doing? Am I comfortable with that? Does it provide in what it is that I get? Can I trust them? So all of those kind of things. So it's like every single person that you allow to work with you in your business or alongside your business, and then obviously looking at, all of the product providers, and that is very important. And also, you can even pull due diligence through to clients to decide, is this a client that I do want to work with? So due diligence can really go a long way. And I'm really interested rather to see, how you feel about it and what you think. All right. So what is due diligence? Well, due diligence is the gathering of information on providers and their products. But as I said, also any person you want to bring into your business, anybody you want to recruit, anybody you want to work with, anything that really touches your business, you want to gather information about them and understand a few things. So in terms of investments, obviously we want to assess the actual and the potential risks, because often, and this is, I've always felt like, you should do business with the people that do the worst marketing in the world, because at least they don't know how to spin things into a way to excite you. It's just like, does this make sense? Yes, it makes sense. And then maybe those are the safer people to work with. I don't know. But there's definitely, something there in terms of that. And also when you're recruiting people, it's not always the person that stands out the most with the most impressive CV. It's usually the person that does not stand out in the interview because they don't know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to, but on the ground, when they do the work, they are absolutely amazing. But we tend to go for the one with the flair and the charisma and then at the end of the day, yeah, it's like the Springboks on paper, fantastic, but on grass, sometimes not so. Anyway, so it's also to independently verify the likelihood of the performance. So all these promises that they're making, all of these things that they say they're going to do, you need to independently go and verify that. Don't just take their word for it. And we do that often. There's a new fund being launched and they show you all of these wonderful, and we've back tested this for 150 years. And this is what would have happened if you weren't. But the thing is that in the past, it doesn't matter. It's about what happens going forward. Nobody had a pandemic in the last 50 years to contend with. So we need to look at whether the foundation is solid and the principles on which these funds are put together, or the product, or whatever we refer to. So can we just agree that when I talk about the funds, you can substitute the funds for your technology or a product provider or a product or whatever it is that needs to fit in there. And then also to confirm, whether when they are setting their expectations, do you understand that correctly? And is it, is it fair and is it reasonable and realistic to actually have those expectations? And what are the likelihood that they will be able to perform accordingly? What are chances that things will go wrong and that they won't make that? So those are kind of sort of the reasons why we want to do due diligence, because at the end of the day, from my point of view, is that I want to protect myself. I want to protect my clients. I want to protect the industry, because we allow these people into the industry and they do certain things, and it's amazing, and it's nothing. I'm not like anything against the FSCA or anything, but how long things are allowed to go on. And now there's there was recently 2 weeks ago or a week ago, the FSCA announced or put out this warning against Exponent Financial Services, and they were warning the public against them. But why not, when they started, why not say, things don't look like, or a year ago or something like that? I don't know how it happens that we don't pick these things up earlier. So, but anyway, I don't understand those kind of things. So I'm not going to get into that and give my opinion much further than that. So what are we trying to do is we just want to protect, basically. So we want to protect our clients, we want to protect our businesses. We want to save the reputation of the industry. And it is, usually when we start off, if it's especially like a new relationship, if you ever dated in your life. So if you are married at the moment, you dated at some point in time, and you dated a few people before you got to the one. But before you every time you get into this relationship, you thought like, wow, amazing. This is the one. And then 6 months later, you go like, who's this person? Because you don't have all the information right at the onset. So some of this information is being divulged and it comes to the fore over time, So the same with what this is. So for me, due diligence is actually an ongoing process. It's not only something that you do once and then you're happy. You need to keep your finger on the pulse there as well. Alrighty, so what are some of the questions that one could ask now that is specific to investments? And these are things like you can take the fund fact sheet, for example. And I've always said this, like you look at a fund fact sheet and you look at what they promise, and it's very easy to do this. So all of the fund fact sheets, so they standardized, so they will show you what the risk category is of a particular fund. You look at that, you look at the mandate and the objective of the fund, and you look at the asset allocation of the fund. And then you need to say, or you need to determine for yourself whether that makes sense. If you look at, we promise that, a very low volatility, but they are sitting with maximum exposure to offshore assets and they sit with, then you need to that doesn't make sense. If you want low volatility, then you need to be more an interest-bearing kind of investment. So the asset allocation is a telltale sign of whether something is really what it says it is. From that point of view. But anyway, so what is the claimed risk category? And as I say, does the underlying portfolio and strategy actually support this? And then you need to go look at, okay, so if they've promised this, what have they delivered? Because often we get stuck on the mandate and the objective of the fund. Again, it's that thing, and I've spoken about this quite a number of times, where what we used to do in the past was to list all the features and benefits, or all the features of a product, and here are the needs of the client, and then we start matching them, and we say, okay, so this is the need, there's the feature. Here's the need, there's the feature. So this product must be great for that, not taking a lot of other stuff into account. And this is sort of the same thing that happens here. We get stuck on that objective, or that, what this fund is meant to do. And then we sometimes we turn a little bit of a blind eye to the past performance of this fund to say, well, over 3 years and 5 years and specifically longer, has this fund actually delivered? And that fund manager will typically tell you that, but this was the situation, or this happened in the markets, or this or this or that. But when they come and sell that fund to you, it will be like, it doesn't matter. This is what we go for. And, we've back tested this and it always performed. So we're quite confident. So that's the sales thing. But we also need to look at what has been delivered at the end of the day, and then say, well, does it make sense where we are? And does it seem like this fund will deliver on its promises? And then you can take it from there. And then I think what's very important, a lot of us will look at the fund fact sheet, yeah. And but we don't really get to know. It's always amazing to me that there's quite a number of advisors that I work with that they've set up their own investment committees kind of thing, and they will tell you by name who the investment managers are of the different funds that they propose. And that is the level of relationship that you should have. It can't just be that Alan Gray or Coronation or Stanley or Momentum or whoever is offering a fund and therefore we are happy. You really need to go down and say, okay, who is the team that is managing this particular portfolio? It's not about the asset manager. It is about the actual team. It's about the people and the individuals working with that on a daily basis. It's their strategy. So you need to understand what is their experience. How long have they been doing this? And a classic example, I'm not going to name funds. I will just talk in general. But there is a classic fund that did freaking extremely well. It's an absolute return fund. It did phenomenally well for years. You could really they delivered on that promise. And then what happened is the asset manager left, and he went to another asset manager, and he started an absolute fund there that was doing fantastically well. I don't know how it's doing these days, but it's been doing fantastically well. And then the asset manager where he was, that fund is nowhere. When I got out of my practice in 2016, that fund was still nowhere. And that just is because of it was one person running that fund, as far as I remember. And, when he left, okay, now what? So even though things are documented, even though there's some experience and intuition and things that plays an extremely important role in fund management, and because he left and there wasn't others. So now these days you'll see that a lot of times it's not just one person running a fund. That is the highest risk. So if you have one asset manager running a particular fund, or one asset, like literally the head of that fund there's only one person in that team, it's a red flag. You need to really worry about that. So these days you'll see 3 or 4 people managing a fund, which means that they're all on the same page. They work together. They make decisions together, so they understand the philosophy and that. So the more people on the team, the less the risk would be from that point of view. But getting to know the investment managers, the people who are actually managing that portfolio, is extremely important. So is there sufficient depth in the investment team, which I think alludes to what I've just been saying. So if one of them leave, the others can continue. The philosophy will continue. The intuition and all of that has been embedded into the team, and they maybe learn, but there's always a head manager that will sort of, let's say, lead the team and be in control. And everybody will be looking up to that person. So if that person leaves, he's trained and they've worked with him and all of that. And then chances are that things will continue as it is, although it's never a guarantee. But a bigger team managing a fund is much, much better. And also you need to understand that a lot of these asset managers are specialists in a particular field. So some will be very good at equity and some will be very good at interest-bearing investments, or that kind of stuff. So it's also important to know and understand that. All right, so how liquid is the investment? This is also a question that we may ask it, but I don't know if we always know and understand the answer to that. But this is just, how easily can I get my money back? A lot of people will say, well, buy houses and that kind of thing, but those things are not liquid. And in times like these, if you don't have rent coming in, people are not paying their rental income, you can't eat part of that house. So it is important to understand that if you are in an investment, how easily can they switch? How easily can you get your money back? Because a lot of these investments that promise great returns, you're in for 3 years, and there's certain things that are structured that, yes, you can get, and they will always do this. It's amazing. They will always say, like, so you're in for 3 years or 5 years or whatever the case is. But if you really need your money, we may be able. And then what they don't say is, like, but there needs to be somebody else who maybe invest in your place, because there's a lot of these weird and wonderful sort of investment opportunities that are out there that are non-traditional, but there's liquidity issues there, and we need to understand it. And if the client, it just means that you can't put all the client's money into that type of investment, even if they get wonderful returns. But it's those kind of things that we really need to understand, is like, what are the liquidity levels of these investments? In other words, how quickly can I get my money back? And what will be the cost of getting my money back? Those are extremely important information and questions to ask, because, you can get your money back, but it's going to cost you 50%. It will make you think twice before you get into those kind of things. All we usually want to know is it liquid? Yes, that's good enough. We need to dig a little bit deeper and understand. And that's why, again, if I go back to the previous slide and I say, what is the portfolio or the asset allocation or the actual thing underlying this investment? Because if we don't understand what that is, it makes it very hard to really determine whether this thing is liquid or not. And then I think what is a very important thing, and this is where companies like Alan Gray, for example, really excels. And I think that's why people are trusting them so much, apart from their brilliant ads every now and then, is the fact that, they have a philosophy that they stick to. Doesn't matter what happens. They have a philosophy. And as long as you know what people believe, and you can see that they believe that, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, then you can trust them and you can go with them and you can go far with them. So that is very important. What is their philosophy? What do they believe? And does that fit in with the way that our clients think and things that are important to our clients? So we need to understand that. And does this fit well with your values? Philosophy can be many things. So I'm not going to get into that today, but it can take on many forms and many things that one would need to consider from that point of view. But definitely, almost say definitive, definitely the philosophy of any investment manager or any business for that matter, I think, is extremely important. Why do they do what they do? What is their guiding light? So we'll get to that in a second as well. But who are the owners of the business? You need to understand, and a lot of these asset managers have come to the fore and they've said, we are independently owned. We are the owners of this business. We are not owned by big banks or by big insurance companies or anything like that. So they are not influenced by other shareholders. They are influenced by themselves, and they decide. But one needs to understand who the owners are of that business. And then also to see what is their track record, specifically if it's a new asset manager, that like, okay, where are these, like this business coming from, and usually the way we get to learn about them is like, wow, look at this performance. It's fantastic. And then it's because they're a boutique and they can move quickly and they can do things that the bigger asset managers can't do. And it's not necessarily that. We need to really understand who are the people behind this business as well. And as I said, this goes for any business. Who sits on the board? How reputable are they? And what other boards do they sit on? And where will you find this information? I guess maybe something that's going through your mind. So where, Francois, in the living daylights, do I find this information? Well, you can find it in their financial statements. So hopefully on their website, there's a lot of information there, but then also, definitely if they publish their financial statements, then there's a lot of information in there that you can find as well. Right. Has the business ever changed their philosophy? So going back to number 7, I said, what is the investment philosophy and why are they doing it? But if they've ever changed their philosophy, if there's really a good reason for it and they've done it for the better, then I can stomach that. That's okay. But if they are chopping and changing their philosophy to suit the latest trends and what's going on at the moment and make use of the latest buzzwords and things, then I'll be very, very concerned about a business like that. Right. So what is the organization's vision, mission, and strategy? One needs to really understand that. Remember, you are trusting your clients' life savings to these asset managers. You are entrusting your business, in the hands of someone else. So you need to understand, what is their vision? Where are they going? Are they serious about this? And then you can make a call from that as well. So you can already see, we're already on number 11. There's so many questions that one needs to ask. And I think one of the challenges is that a lot of times when you're smaller FSPs, like, Francois, I don't have time to do this stuff. But these are simple questions you can ask. And you don't need to go look for the answers. Just ask people to give you the answers. And then you can look at it, and if something looks fishy, then you can get into that a little bit more. But the fact that we're not asking questions, because everybody else is doing business with Coronation. Now, I also want a contract with Coronation directly so I can do their unit trust and I can do whatever. And then you just, like herd mentality, there we go. Let's do what everybody else is doing. But nobody's asking the questions, because if 50,000 other people are doing it, then, they must be good. So, but we should really be doing our own due diligence. We should be asking our own set of questions to really determine that. So how has past performance varied? Again, we've spoken about that, so I'm not going to get into that. What has the turnover of key personnel been? So if you look at, like, particularly the asset managers or the investment managers that work within the asset management business, if there's a regular turnover, there's regularly people leaving that business, then something's wrong inside that business. And it can be a culture thing. It can be that there's other things, I don't know. But a turnover of key personnel, I'm not talking about the normal, like every day there's a new receptionist or every day there's a new administrator. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about key personnel, like people who are like investment managers, the people that really make that business tick over. If there's a turnover in that, then one would need to be cognizant of that. Alrighty, so I want to see. Where's mine? There we go. So let me look at the comments here, because I see there's a lot of comments that has come in. So let me just see quickly. Yes, Kobus says he's booked his virtual spot. Thank you very much, Kobus. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you very much. Neil Phillips and Neil Roynan, good morning. Peter Lopez, good morning. Renata says the estate planning refresher is highly recommended. Thank you very much. Ian says booked the course yesterday and the gift absolutely works well. Good stuff. That is referring to Brian Parsley. A few people saying, okay, so Neil says, how is it possible to do due diligence on provider products that are hyper complicated and designed by actuaries? These frighten me, rightly so, I think, Neil. My experience is that they are very happy to hang us advisors out to dry when things go wrong. So, it's hard. And I've worked for such a business where things are extremely complicated and they are very complex and a lot of moving parts, and look, with those things, my view is sort of, as long as you do what they want, those products will perform. The problem comes in when 80% of people can't stick to that and they don't do what they actually want them to do. That's the problem. So I would just say, if you have a set of basic questions, And what I look at is how people answer those questions for you. Do they give you like, oh yeah, you can read this, or yeah, or does somebody really come and sit with you and explain to you, and then whatever they are explaining to you, does it make sense? Because this intuition thing that we've all got, well, like if it doesn't sit well with you, you will very quickly understand that. And the problem is that, sometimes clients are insisting on these products. Other times they are so aggressive in their marketing that you feel like you don't have a choice but to do this. You're going to miss out. And, it's just about taking a stand and saying, you know what, I am comfortable with this, or I'm not comfortable with this. And then you make your decision from there and move on. But it is definitely a thing. And I think, Neil, the first decision that I would make is to say, do I want to deal with providers like this? Is there value for my client? Is it worth the stress and all of that? Because usually there are major players. And, it's a decision that one would need to make from your business's point of view. And let's see what Peter said. Neil, have a look on the web and Google prod regulations in the UK to get some idea of what may be coming in our direction. Thank you for that, Peter. So there you go. Cindy says, Alan Gray use Funhouse ratings on all of the funds they use on the platform. I like that they have their own due diligence and use Funhouse ratings, almost a double due diligence. Yes, but here's the thing, guys. So my sort of message this morning is that don't rely on other people's due diligence. You need to do your own, because there's always something that at least you can say, well, I did look at it, I didn't pick it up, and it's okay. Or you maybe there's something you pick up. So these things are definitely helpful. Look at Funhouse, you look at the Morning Stars and all of the stuff that's available from that point of view, and listen to what everybody else is saying. But the problem is we're not doing our own due diligence, and that is the message that I want to share with you this morning. Good morning, Johan Marais. I see you saying good morning. Good morning. Alrighty, so that is my story. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock tomorrow. What is tomorrow? It is Friday, so yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Today, it's quite a busy day. This afternoon, we've got Advice Tech from 3 until 5, and then at 5:15, I'm interviewing Kate Holmes on my podcast, so that's going to be fun. Really looking forward to that. And so busy day ahead. It's a lot of things that happened yesterday and last night that I need to give attention to today, so it's going to be a very busy day. So thank you very much for being with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you're all safe and doing well, and that you're excited about level 3 that's coming up. I will see you back here tomorrow. Stay well.